Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Bench. And after a bit of a hiatus, said that word right, I think.
Yep.
Um, we are back. Played a couple episodes, special episodes. Had a little Christmas one. Played it's kind of our best memories of season 2. But here we are, 2021, and season 3, episode 1. Cue the loud cheering from the fan base.
Woo, woo, woo,
All right, our next thing is sound effects. I got to tell you, folks, we spent some of our money. We got some microphones. I've got a mixer, a little bit of a mixer, and I'm working on it for about an hour before we came on here. And I can play music, but I can't get music to play over Zoom, which we're recording on. And I don't want to go away from Zoom because I do like to see your faces, as sad as that may sound. But that just kind of helps with the interaction piece of it, especially when we get guests and things. So we'll get it figured out. But our voices seem to sound a little bit better tonight, guys.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Todd, your voice always sounds sweet. But
the
Jarvis
golden voice
catching up a bit.
Well, we're playing the hits from back in the 70s. Let's listen to this one from 1972. Yeah, still got a face for radio.
That sweet baritone of Todd Gordon.
I know. I love it.
Well, hey, it's been quite a break here, really. I think we finished up in December and just kind of waited. You know, last 2 years we started our seasons in December, and that just the little I'd start twitching a little bit. We're episode 3 of 1st of January or something. You know, it's like, okay, let's just start in January.
Yeah.
And let's just kind of go that route. So here we are, and we're going to talk through a little bit what's kind of on deck. But we're going to pay some bills. We still got our same 3 sponsors who we appreciate. So let's hear about Hometown Ticketing.
Are you an AD interested in saving time or making your job a little less stressful? Are you looking for ways to improve the fan experience at your games? Well, we suggest you take a good look into Hometown Ticketing. Hometown Ticketing provides schools with everything it needed to offer professional level online ticketing at absolutely no cost to your school athletic program. Hometown integrates industry-leading technology directly into your existing school or athletic website. This provides your fans with a simple and easy ticket buying experience that takes place directly on your website without the need to create an account, remember a password, or download an app. From individual game tickets to customized season pass programs, our friends at Hometown Ticketing can customize an entire ticketing platform for your program. And the best part is it doesn't cost your school or athletic program anything to get started. So check out our friends at Hometown Ticketing at www.hometownticketing.com to enroll your school today. That's www.hometownticketing.com.
Very good. I think the next step for them is we get some audio jingles going for Hometown Ticketing. That could be a good little jingle.
There we go. We could do a little trio.
Yeah.
Barbershop quartet action.
Yeah, barbershop trio. Nate, you if you're listening to this, you let us know when you want us to crank that out. Maybe we can come up with something.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. How about Gipper, Aaron?
We're excited to have Gipper back with us again here for season 3. Are you looking to have your athletic program stand out on social media? Well, now you can by using Gipper. By using Gipper, you can create and share professional sports graphics to social media in seconds on any device without needing any design experience. Try out Gipper for free at gogipper.com/athletics. They've also spent some time in the podcast arena. You can check out Matthew Glick on Standout and listen to his podcast. Great podcast there as well. And we've talked all the time about how they are always rolling out new features. They've rolled out their scheduling feature in the past. You can make those Gipper social media posts ahead of time and set those up ahead of time. Todd, we know you're great at that. Some cool new features they're throwing out there for folks looking for new things from Gipper. I saw they just came out with all kinds of bracket social media cards, 12-team, 10-team, 16-team brackets. And they're also have been coming out with Oh, the holidays ones, the New Year's and the Happy Holidays cards as well. So we talk about new features that Gipper's always pushing out. They're always rolling with what we need next, and that's been great. So if you're interested in taking your social media presence to the next level, check out our friends at gogipper.com/athletics.
I think I just saw too. I think they're doing like a social media training. Is that right? I've seen some on Twitter where you're certified in social media or something like that. Is that correct, Scott? Have you?
Yeah, I saw a bunch of ADs have gotten on there and they've been retweeting that they have taken it. And I looked at that and I was like, gosh, I need to go on there and do that. So
Yeah, I was thinking about checking that out too.
Now, I'm kind of hoping to get the Gipper Standout Award. And have you seen what they're doing with that?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing who's using Gipper out there across the country, and they're going to select some winners. So if you're somebody who's using Gipper, might want to ramp things up here the first month of January and see if you can't win one of those Gipper Standout Awards.
Yeah.
Did you see those alumni templates they put up?
Yeah.
Those are really cool. So we did one for Riley Moss and we did one for McKenna, who's at Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And we had tons of interactions on those. So that was really cool that they did those alumni spotlight templates. Those are really cool.
Yeah, it's I don't know, amazing's the wrong word, but it's cool. And now all the wallpapers they've got that you can do. I see they're promoting a wallpaper Wednesday.
Yep, saw that.
Yeah, so just a lot of neat things that we can still do with Gipper, and there'll be more and more coming down the pike here before long too. Well, another company, obviously, Varsity Bound HQ is one of our sponsors, and we appreciate them having them with us as well. They are, again, in this age of COVID, we are using them exclusively for our programs at games. We put the QR codes out on social media during the day, but then we also have separate QR codes at our front desk for anybody to use as well to get the programs for the day. And, again, it's just like having your own social media department. So for me, I think we pay $500, I think, for that to unlock a lot of those features. And that's been well worth it. And we're going to talk a little bit later about what may not change. What may not change is doing paper programs again. I think, we really haven't gotten any negative feedback from it. People are kind of used to it now, and they have so much on their phone anyway. Why not have their game day program on there as well? So, again, and then now using it for stats as I'm coaching as well. Everything's just able to integrate directly from Quick Stats over to Huddle and get everything in that way. So, just a lot of stuff going on. And again, I think in 2021, it's going to be amazing to see what all three of these sponsors do, Hometown Ticketing, Gipper, and Varsity Bound, because, boy, just a lot of progressive stuff going on from all three of them. But thank you again to Hometown Ticketing, Gipper, and Varsity Bound HQ for being sponsors of Beyond the Bench. All right. Well, now into the show, and you know what it means first. It's what's up and what's down. All right. So I'm going to lead off here tonight, and should we go what's up first?
Let's do it. What's up?
All right. What's up? Well, I'm gonna go personal on this one. And about a week ago, Deb and I celebrated our 37th wedding anniversary, and so yeah, you can cue the applause for her on that one.
Yeah. God bless that lady.
Boy, I guess tell you what,
she is a saint.
She is. And, so it's just another year that, and it just a lot of memories, obviously, that we've had and that we continue to have. And so my up is very simple. It's just my wife, Deb, love her. And she's been so supportive. And now to be back coaching, and at least for a year, and having her be the coach's wife again has been fun. And now that we can get her into games, it's good too. So, anyway, just a happy 37th to her, and we're on to the next now.
Well, congratulations to you guys on that, Todd. Speaking of saints, That was gonna be one of the things I was gonna mention. Now, we've been off for like 4 weeks here, so you really don't think I've got one up to talk about here, do you?
I would expect nothing less.
Good.
I don't know that we went to season 3 if now you think you get 3.
Oh,
Yeah. Every year you get one more.
hang on. I got to cross a couple off my list here. Now, so, no, happy 25th to my wife. We've got a few more years. Well, we'll hopefully never catch up to the Gordons, but they've got a head start on us. But 25th year for us. They're right before Christmas. So thanks to my wife for
the anniversary
on that. Lots of cool things just have been going on for us. Got some new kittens in the house, and it's been fun watching my 100-pound labs figure out how to manage 3-pound kittens.
And the kittens are in charge?
Yes, they are. They are not the ones running away. I'll tell you that right now. The cats kind of bow their neck and the dogs go running. But got to give a shout out to my Cyclones. That was awfully fun watching.
Yeah, congratulations.
With their run there in December and winning that game yesterday. So congrats to my Cyclones. That's been a long time waiting for that to happen for my team. So that was kind of fun. And then I'm super excited about we get the keys to my gym back tomorrow. And our kids get to start practicing in the gym. Got a doubleheader scheduled for that gym tomorrow night. So just excited to get back in the gym and be back under our own roof again.
Yeah,
that's great.
Awesome.
Great for your kids and your coaches and you.
Yeah.
Scott, how about you? What's up?
Well, you know what? You guys aren't going to believe this, but I actually took all of last week off.
Huh?
I did not go into school all week long.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a little weird. I was a little antsy the last couple of days, but it was probably good for me to be away for a little bit.
So, honest question. What day did the shakes set in for you? Did you make Tuesday? I mean, I'd put the over under at Tuesday noon.
Oh boy.
It was really actually about Wednesday morning. I was like, oh, this just doesn't feel right. I was like, so yeah, it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to stay away, but I just really needed some time away. But I had a great Christmas break. My family came over for Christmas Eve and we spent Christmas Day with my mom, and I'm grateful that my mom, she went to the hospital and she's feeling better and had some surgeries. So those, hopefully now we'll through the woods on that and she'll be doing better here. And I'm looking forward to 2021.
You bet. Sounds good. Yeah, I think it was good for you to take a week off, Scott.
Yes, it was.
I about shut down the podcast after you said that and said, everybody just think on that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That was a mic drop moment right there.
That was, yeah. Good for you.
Yep.
All right. Now a little bit. What's down? Well, I think I'm just going to keep the pandemic as down, but it's kind of an up as well. Deb and I, we went back to church today for the first time since March.
Nice.
And I just realized how much I miss that. You know, how online has been good, but it's not the same. So I don't know. My down, I guess, is an up. Is like, and then we over to Cornerstone Church in Ames, and of course it's a 5,000 seat auditorium. So they went to 3 services instead of 2. So, and they don't have kids programming right now, so you don't have a lot of families coming in, but they do a great job of just telling you where to sit. You got 3 seats in between you. You're socially distanced, but just made me realize again how much this pandemic took away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to start reclaiming some of that back. So it was good to be back in church, you know, go get a meal together and do a little shopping and get a few things we needed to that we usually do on a Sunday, just a couple, 2 or 3 hours together. And it was good to have that back. So,
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good for you guys doing that. But you're right that the pandemic didn't disappear on January 1st, 2021, did it?
No. I wish it did.
No.
Yeah.
I think we all wish it did.
Yeah. Well, so my down, really been struggling with this here the last several weeks now, but I kind of hit home a little bit here yesterday too of just how sports just can't be about the journey or the experience or the process anymore. It has to be about first place, making the championship or winning the championship. It has to be about starting. It has to be being all conference or all state. And I think it's been a struggle. We've talked about this before, so maybe it's been more than just the past month. But I really, really liked what Matt Campbell talked about on the stage yesterday after the game during the trophy presentation. We talked about, this group of guys just shows you that greatness isn't reserved only for those that are great, but rather for those who are willing to do the uncommon or do the different things in life and work hard in pursuit of becoming the very best version of themselves they can. Fantastic stuff. And it's why he's the leader that he is. And then I have to stop looking through comments on things like this because it just epitomizes the downside for me of sports, which is people just ripped and said, well, you're not at Alabama, you're not at Texas, and look who you beat. You beat a third. It just, everybody, you can't grab onto that intangible thing that I think the three of us, that a lot of the people we work with are trying to build into our sports programs, and that Matt Campbell and people like him are building the programs. And so people can't grab it because it's not a super tangible thing. And so since they can't grab onto it or understand it, then they have to rip on it. And it just really sucks a lot of the joy of athletics and what athletics is to me anyway, personally. Out of things, and it gets hard to follow. So that's my down. I wish that could go away. I wish it didn't have to be about, it's like if you weren't Alabama or Notre Dame or Ohio State or Clemson in college football this year, your season was worthless. It wasn't worth it, and there's nothing that good that came out of it because you didn't make the BCS championship series. And that's just the way we think, whether it's NFL, high school, NBA. And I'm tired of that. We got to change that.
Well, unfortunately, one thing that happened in the last few months was all these social media tough guys and tough girls, not just reserved to guys, who just take every chance they can to bash whoever they want to bash, behind a keyboard. And you're right. I think our message is more important than ever right now, and what we do. And
isn't it amazing? I find it amazing. And Aaron just said, it's like, isn't it sad that the uncommon part of what we do is just treating people right? Just celebrating the good things that happen. That's becoming more and more uncommon, which is really sad. And I kind of on the same page with Aaron here. I have just been really struggling this year with just the negativity and it's all about me, and it's all about my kid. And if you don't do that, then we're going to have a problem. And it's become more about the adults than it has the kids. And that's what really just at the end of the day just makes me sad, and it makes me try to reflect on my purpose and how do I get back to living out my purpose, because I feel like I am dealing with adults more than I am dealing with kids. And that's what I want to do. I want to work with kids. I want to make sure our kids have a good experiences, but the more and more I'm in this, the less and less I get to spend with them.
Well, and not to spend too long on this topic right now, because this probably could be a whole nother show, but I've been thinking a lot in the past several weeks and maybe I've just had more time to look at it and think about it lately, but you talk about participation rates dropping. Well, you wonder how much, this has been going on for quite some time now, how much of this culture of it's win or go home, or it's conference championship or bust, it's starter and first team all conference or bust, how much of that's really feeding into our kids at age 13, 14, 15 thinking, man, I don't need that pressure, and I can't be first, and I won't be the best, and if you won't be the best, nobody will appreciate me, nobody will love me, nobody will care about what I do, so I'm just not going to do it to start with. And like I said, we have to reverse this somehow, if it's reversible. So that's my down. Sorry, it's really down.
Nope, it's all right.
And I jumped on your bandwagon, Aaron, so I apologize.
Oh no.
But that's been really hard for me this year. harder than been ever in my 22 years of doing this. It's just, this year's really been a struggle for me on that.
Yep. I just,
Yuck.
well, now, Scott, you got to give us your down if there's anything different.
No, I was listening to Aaron. I was like, geez, he's like,
Yeah.
he hit me, mine right on the head. I just have been struggling with that. So I appreciate him bringing that up, because I didn't really know if I even wanted to even talk about that, honestly, because it, you get that, oh, poor me attitude, and I don't want to have that, but it's just a real feeling, and it's really hurting me. It's just getting to me, and I just got to find a way through it, and I got to keep fighting through that. It's just been really tough this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Todd, I think you brought up a great point in this. My last thing I'll say on this, since we brought it up, just listening to Scott there too. You talked about the sports loudmouth who's just been enjoying this time of COVID when it's all online and all behind a keyboard. I think most people are in our camp. I think most people are looking through the same lens we're looking at. I know the three of us look through. Our problem is, and I think sometimes folks who are in our camp are also humble and lead more by example than by being a loudmouth. And maybe we just have to be louder.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we've let ourselves be drowned out a little bit, and we're not sharing our message enough. We're not sharing it boldly enough. And maybe we just need to step up and say, you know what? It's more than championships, and shout it from the mountaintops more than we do. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's truth to that. And I think sometimes it's more being consistent with it too.
Yeah.
Because, you're not riding a wave of emotion. What I do with a lot of those social warriors is go look at their profile, and they're following 3 people and they have 2 followers themselves. So, they're on there for one reason. They aren't out there to make any changes.
No.
They're just out there to complain and moan. So,
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So there you have it. The first What's Up, What's Down of season 3. So, I think, as we get going here, there's just a few things we're going to talk about in the next few minutes, and then we're going to kind of set the stage for the next 4 episodes. But, to our listeners out there, we really do appreciate you listening and your encouragement, your support. Just time-wise, just kind of so you know where we're going. We're going to go to probably an every other week type of format. We hit 40 episodes this week. We hit 40 the last season, the last 2 seasons. And we're going to kind of go to 26 to 30, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's going to be an every other week. Just to kind of, we say that, and we might end up doing 40 again, but we've kind of got the year planned out, and we're excited about some of the guests we're going to have on, but and we'll have a few special episodes in there too. But we're going to try and go for about every other week, about 2 a month, and try to hit about 26 of them or so. But I think the main thing that we still want to try and do, we've talked about this when we had a little planning meeting a couple weeks ago, was we want to be relevant, and we want to be in tune with what's going on. So, I think back to last season when Kobe Bryant died, and, we had a show planned, and then we talked about Kobe for an hour and did Kobe quotes and, the life of Kobe. And none of us knew him, but we're impacted because of his life in sport. So we will remain relevant. And when those things happen, which unfortunately or fortunately, great things will happen, there'll be some negative things happen, we'll address those. And if that's a special episode, it's a special episode. So, but one of the things we always want to do is be relevant to what's going on in the life of ADs. So, speaking of relevance, we've kind of gotten through half of our winter season, so to speak, and with COVID. And so let's just talk through that a little bit. Scott, how has the experience with that Ankeny Centennial been so far?
I just I posted something here over break, and I just expressed my gratefulness for my student athletes, my coaches, my directors and sponsors. They have been awesome through the pandemic. Our coaches have gone above and beyond to make sure our kids are safe. It hasn't been a fight, which I've heard, a lot of ADs had to deal with just the fight. And I've been very, blessed that my coaches have really stepped up and they're going above and beyond to make sure our kids are safe. So for me, I think COVID is just the mental health issues we've been dealing with, as far as everybody's just kind of on edge. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I've been dealing with, as well as crowd restrictions and dealing with the people who don't like that we can't let everybody in yet. But it is what it is. And we just continue to try to follow the guidelines and work with our conference to make sure that, we have protocols in place that can be consistent. And that makes it a little bit easier for all of our families when we're consistent within our conference too. So that's been nice to work with our CML and make sure that we're following the consistent protocols at each school. So that's been nice also.
I agree. I think, being in the heart of Iowa conference, we've kind of been the same thing. Our guidelines and, we've been following the same thing as well. So that's been nice. And my standard response to people when they've complained about spectator restrictions is just call the governor,
Yeah. Yeah.
And one parent asked me, well, who can I contact to change this? I said, well, the Governor Branstad would be where you start.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends. So,
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to do that then. Okay.
Thank you.
Go right
Thank
at
you.
it. Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. Have a good time with that. And so I agree, Scott. I think I've been really proud of our kids and our coaches and our directors, and they've just kind of had very early in this, when we started the year, I just kind of have been proclaiming adjust, adapt, and overcome.
Yep.
And I say that all the time. And with my communication with our kids and our staff, and that's kind of just where it's been. And I'm with you. I haven't had any fights with any coaches or directors. It's just been, what do we need to do to be safe? And I've been really proud of them and thankful for that as well. So we had a pause back in November where we had a week off, where we were gone for 8 days right before Thanksgiving. So we had a week of basketball practice and then 8 days off and then back at it. And we've missed a couple games. We had our game right before Christmas that had to be rescheduled because of COVID issues with our opponent. And, it's just part of it. We are to the point right now, as we enter tomorrow, we're recording on a Sunday night, January 3rd. But as we enter tomorrow, January 4th, we will have 14 practices and 16 games until the start of regionals.
Wow.
So our practice time is, it's kind of in between games. But we're playing
2
and 3 times a week. 3 times a week after this week.
Yeah.
We play twice, and that's 3 times a week. And so we're to the point now where if something gets canceled due to weather or COVID, it's canceled. So we won't have any chance to replay those. So it's next 6 weeks is going to be just fly by. But it's going to be, if we have a spike, which, of course they're saying we got a few more things coming in, but they weren't testing for a few days in there either. So I don't know how that reads, but if we get a spike or it goes day by day, again, we'll just adjust, adapt, and overcome, and then just kind of see what the spring holds.
Yeah. I'm really in the same boat as you guys. We did have I just had a 3-week break. We had about a week and a half before Thanksgiving and about a week and a half after Thanksgiving that we took off here in Linn County. Just when we had our hospitals really got backed up there right before Thanksgiving here in Cedar Rapids in Linn County, and it was a good thing. All of our schools really shut down, and I think you saw our numbers drop dramatically after about 2 weeks of shutdown. And I think put us in a position where we actually could then have 2 solid weeks of athletics in December. And I really tried to share that a lot with anybody I spoke to who wanted to kind of complain about the shutdown and why did we have to shut down. I'm like, I got to be honest with you. I think the reason we're playing the 2 weeks going into December was because we had that shutdown. If we wouldn't have shut down and kept on going, we wouldn't have had staff to run schools, wouldn't have had bus drivers to drive us to games. And so I think the shutdowns were a good thing for us and gave us a shot to get some games in and some activities beforehand. So managing things the same way as you guys are. I want to give a quick shout out to 2 other folks who I know you guys have been instrumental for you guys as well. Our school nurse, Jill Asprey, and our athletic trainer, Lynn Groth. Most of our coaches will include those 2 on any email regarding, hey, player A this or player B that, or assistant coach A and B had an exposure. What do we do? Those 2 usually have it solved before I even have to get engaged in it. They've really been active and jumping on board and been very helpful in managing our close contacts and quarantines and isolations and such. So shout out to the school nurses and trainers out there who are really on the front lines, in my case, many times before me, but certainly alongside us.
Agree. Yeah, the school nurses have been fantastic. Ann Hicks is our high school nurse, and she gets wary sometimes, but yeah, it's yeoman's work for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, we kind of talked through everything we wanted to talk about there, I think, about handling pauses, breaks, have you guys, any of your conferences, though, I do want to talk about conference championships. And what if conference games get called off, can't be made up? Are you having conference championships? Are you doing a percentage basis? Scott, what's the CIML doing?
We've kind of talked about that, conference championships isn't going to be our main focus this year. It's going to be getting as many games as we can in for our kids. So we've kind of just had that discussion that conference championships are not going to be our focus this year. It's really going to be about keeping our kids safe and making sure that we can get as many games as we can for our kids. And we've already had to cancel many games within our conference already. And like you said, Todd, I don't know if we're going to be able to make those up without having to play 3 or 4 games a week. And then you're getting into not having any practice, and it just makes it tough to prepare. So,
right. Yeah.
So that's what we're doing with the CIML right now.
Okay. Aaron, what about you guys?
We're still holding out hope that we'll be able to have and crown conference championships in all of our sports here this winter. It's fragile. The way our schedules are built, usually let's take basketball first. Our conference championships are based upon a full round robin against all other 15 schools you'd play in basketball, which is different than our other sports. And so we're in a position where all of our divisional opponents are the back half of our conference schedules. So right now we backed off and said, hey, let's just focus this year on let's try to get every one of your divisional opponent games in, and we'll do our conference championships based on our divisional opponents instead of the whole conference. And so we're still looking to do that. If we lose some games, if a school or 2 gets shut down in January or early February, that'll go out the window. But we're kind of in a position we still could do that in basketball. Bowling will be based upon win percentage at this point in time if we can get enough matches in. Swimming and wrestling, we're doing a little bit differently. So for swimming, we usually have a large super meet, and we're going to do the same thing with the winter that we did in the fall. We'll break, instead of having one large super meet with all 10 teams there that swim, we're going to actually have smaller pods of swim meets, and then we'll just combine the results. So we'll do like 3 schools in Iowa City swimming against one another. I think 3 in Cedar Rapids, and then 4 up in the Dubuque, Cedar Falls, Waterloo area. And then, like I said, we'll just merge those results and create our championships off of that. And then wrestling, I was supposed to host the conference championships this year. I was super excited. I had the U.S. Cell Center, which is now the Alliant Energy Powerhouse. Actually, I had that reserved, and we were going to hold that event there at the, where they have the state volleyball tournament.
That would have been really cool.
And it was going to be super cool. And even before we had the major restrictions come in of 2 per, I was still going to do it because they'd let me, we could go 1,600 spectators, and that would be 35% capacity. And they really felt we could spread things out quite a bit. And my wrestling teams had plenty of room on the floor. But with its 2, who knows how long the 2 per spectator lasts. And so I had to bail out of the Cell Center. So actually right now still plan to have our super meet, but we're going to split it in half. We're going to put half the weights at Kennedy High School and half the weights at Jefferson High School. And give those kids, and no fans. So we're looking at like 112 wrestlers at each location. With no fans. We'll live stream everything through Track Wrestling. So kind of different ways we're trying to manage it and do it. Hopefully that all works out.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. At the Heart Iowa Conference, I think that's going to be a discussion point next Wednesday, probably. Because I do think whether we have conference championships or base it on a percentage, because I do think there's going to be conference games not played. And if there is, we have to talk about a plan. We host the wrestling championship this year at Greene County in the new gym. And right now we're still planning on allowing 2 spectators per wrestler. So we'll see. But we'll see what changes on the 8th, if the governor has to do anything different or not. But so, yeah, it's just adjust, adapt, overcome, right?
Yep.
So we're going to talk a little bit just about some lessons that we've learned regarding leading in the pandemic, what we've learned about leadership, and what may continue. One of the things my superintendent always says is that if education doesn't change when you come out of this, then we've done something wrong, because we've learned so many new ways to do things. That we need to continue a lot of those, and it's made us take a hard look at what the education system is and how we do things, and we've gotten rid of some of those things. So I think some things have changed, and the same thing goes for education-based athletics and activities. So we're going to start with you, Aaron. What you've learned about leadership and what you think may continue after this all, whatever normal looks like.
Sure. And I think for me, I'm answering this from a perspective of, I think COVID and derecho both, as those 2 things for us have become a real simultaneous obstacle and hurdle for us to manage. But I think from a leadership standpoint, and just from a team experience standpoint, I keep coming back to the word connection, and how difficult building connection has been for us. For my coaches and my kids and my teams this year here at Kennedy, that I think we just took for granted that, one of the examples I've talked about quite a bit is, man, if you have a great win on a Tuesday night, how much fun it is to come to school on Wednesday morning and be at school a little before, half hour before school starts, and all your friends come in and everybody is celebrating and talking to you about last night's game and how great that was, or last night's wrestling meet and how cool it was to watch this, this pin or that match. And COVID, and for us, the derecho on top of that has really diminished the opportunity for our kids to celebrate together. It's also diminished the opportunity for our kids and coaches to mourn together on tough losses and just tough situations. And so I think one of the things I'm learning, or have learned and continue to try to focus on, is we have to build connection. It's the number one thing I think we have to do. If we're not connected, we can't build and grow together. And that's, I think, I go back to what we spent some time on early on in this kind of, what has sports done for me lately? It's easy to get stuck in a me mindset when there's no connection. So we got to focus on that. One of the things I've honestly coming out of the back end of this, or hopefully moving towards the back end of this thing, I've been afraid to keep my leadership stuff going and a lot of coaches meetings going, because we have been so much online. And I just been afraid to schedule more online meetings or online leadership sessions, because I keep in the back of my mind thinking the last thing my kids and coaches want right now is another hour on Google or another hour on Zoom. when that's all I've done all day long. But I should have done more because I think that I could have had an impact in there on some of this missing connection piece with some things. And so I regret being afraid of adding another hour because I think it would have the positive would have outweighed the negative.
Good point. Good point. Scott, what about you? What have you learned and
Yep.
what might continue?
I think the biggest thing for me has just been the communication, a little bit with the connection, like Aaron said, but just really reaching out to our coaches, our coaching staff, and making sure throughout the pandemic that we were staying connected, even though that was harder when we're not getting together. But we still did have our 3D coaching sessions. We did offer the in-person. And then when we kind of got closer to our shutdown that we had at Centennial, we did have those online. But I think it's been positive to continue to reach out to the coaches, and I'm trying to call them, just to check in on, because it has been hard this year to connect with coaches because you don't want to be around the kids like we have in the past. And, it was always fun to go to watch practice and go in the wrestling room and watch the kids. And I've been a little more reluctant this year to do that just because I don't want to be the person who knocks our kids out of competition or our coaches. But throughout the year, we've had coaches quarantined, kids be quarantined, and just making sure that we're connecting with those kids as they're quarantined and talking to our coaches about making sure they're continuing to connect with those kids while they're out. Because that's a tough time for them, for kids to be out for 10 days or 14 days or whatever that might be. So communication's been pivotal, and making sure, and I know that Todd and Aaron, we've always discussed when we have those IHSAA, Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union COVID meetings, and some of the coaches, I just see that they're not getting all the communication, and I think that just, for me, really hits home the fact that it's important for us to continue to communicate all of our processes and protocols and make sure that we're touching base with our coaches as much as we possibly can, especially during this time. And I think the one thing that I have learned is that having Zoom and the Google Meet, those have been impactful during this COVID time. And I've really enjoyed presenting to people across the country. I've had the opportunity to, be involved in a pandemic task force, which Todd and Aaron I know have been on too, which I learned a lot about how to deal with this. I don't think I'd be nearly as knowledgeable about what we're doing and how to do it without being involved with those sessions with Gary Stevens. So just continuing to use our technology, continuing to stream our games. I think that's been great to connect with fans of our student athletes that are, if they got brothers and sisters at college or if they have aunts and uncles in Arizona. It's been very nice to be able to connect with people who aren't necessarily in our community, but still have a broader connection with our fan base and our people that enjoy watching our student athletes participate.
Very good. Yeah, I think obviously going after both of you, it's just going to be a lot of the same. But I think obviously what I've learned more than anything is that personal connection is so important. And the importance of ADs, coaches, leaders, whoever the case might be, the impact that has, and not to take that for granted, and to make every opportunity that we have, make it be important and know that it does make a difference. I think when we missed that last spring, I think we knew it, but then when we got back together in the fall, started in the summer, but then once school kind of got going again, I think it just hit me how important that personal connection is. And when we start getting busy, how we sometimes take that for granted, and it gets pushed to the side. And I think when normal returns, whatever that looks like, but this is normal now. So if we have an opportunity to make a personal connection, uh, it's important that we do that. And I've tried to stress that to the coaches, that every day they have an opportunity is a good day, and don't take that for granted ever. And I hope it's something I never forget, uh, and that we keep pushing that along and know that we're making a difference. I think one thing that I hope that will continue, I think what we learned to do a lot was to celebrate on social media. We learned how to do some different things. Um, we'll go back, obviously, hopefully, to some in-person awards, and being able to do those things. But I think we learned how to really do some neat things on social media, um, that we can continue to do once in a while anyway. But it's important to have that piece of it too. We can do it personally, and when we can do that again, but people like to see that on social media now. And I think we talked earlier about all the warriors who are trying to be negative out there. I think we've got to use that for good and to make it for good. And so I think that will continue, and I hope it will continue, that we continue to celebrate a lot through social media. Obviously, through using things like Gipper, and it makes it a lot easier, and can make it a lot more showy. And but I hope that will continue as well. So those are just a couple quick things. But I do think through it all, I think what we've learned is that what we do really matters, and we can't forget that.
I would agree.
I want to spend just a little bit of time before we close up shop here today and talking about the upcoming series that we're going to have. 4-part series. We're going to do one word in our second episode. We're going to talk about our one word with a couple of ADs. But then when we come back, starting in February, we just kind of call it the journey. And it's kind of Aaron's brainchild. And so we're going to be talking 1 week with ADs, 1 week with coaches, the next time with parents, and then we're going to finally wrap it up with athletes. And we're all going to have a guest with us as well. But we're going to start with ADs. And boy, Aaron, we lost Scott there for a minute, so we'll see if he gets back on. But boy, we got some heavy hitters for ADs coming on, right?
Yeah, we did. I don't quite know how that worked out well for us, but we've got 3 really great guests going to join us in that AD session. Now we got Rich Barton will be joining us, AD out of Utah, past president of the NIAAA. Super fantastic guy, and I'm excited to have him come on. Becky Moran, who was just out of Illinois, Chicago area in Illinois. She's been a great leader for us in Section 4 as an AD, and she, as a professional development AD especially, just actually won the at-large election here at the NADC back in December. So she'll be joining the NIAAA National Board as well. If you haven't listened to or heard Becky talk before about, you talk about passion about high school athletics, that girl's got it. And then our third guest is going to be Mike Elson out of Tennessee, Nashville area, I believe, down in Tennessee. Mike actually ran against Becky in that at-large election. That was a tough one to vote for, quite frankly, for folks, because those two are both such great leaders. Mike runs a fantastic athletic program down there. Actually, is one of the few ADs, along with Mr. Jarvis with us, who's finished that quality program journey, which is really, really a difficult thing to get from the NIAAA, but a great distinction. So 3 great guests coming up on that first AD episode, Todd, and we're excited and lucky to have them.
Yeah, for sure. And just so people kind of know what we're going to do with that, we're going to be talking about, basically all 4 of those groups, ADs, coaches, parents, and athletes. What's their favorite part? What's the most frustrating part of what they do? You like it. For example, we're going to ask the ADs, we're going to ask everybody in their own perspective, what do you like when coaches do this? What do you like? What do you like when the parents do? Um, we're going to ask ADs, what they like when they interact with parents, and then they like it when coaches do this. And then we're going to ask the athletes about their experience. What could we do better as ADs? What could our coaches do better? We're going to ask the parents what they want their child's long-term takeaway to be. And then the coaches and ADs, we're going to ask them, what are you going to remember the most? And we kind of worded that. It's kind of a legacy question. So it's just going to be kind of in-depth, I think, but just really capture, what are we doing well? What can we do better type of thing from 4 different perspectives.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to get the 4 different perspectives and have those folks kind of encapsulate what the high school educational athletics journey is from their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our listeners, and I'm hoping our listeners can expand into those groups a bit as well. We push this out to those groups, and just people can step back and look at it through a different lens and learn a little bit about what educational athletics is like for ADs as a parent, or for coaches as an athlete, or for student athletes, a better idea of what are our kids really like for us as ADs, so that we're building that in our programs. Really excited about this 4 weeks.
Yeah, great idea.
Yep, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be. So that's what's coming up. We will hit on our one word in session 2, in episode 2, and then we'll start that in episode 3, 4, 5, and 6 as we get into February and March. We'll have that finished up by spring break. So as we look at our every other week type of schedule. So guys, been great to be with you again. Great to see you. But Scott, I think you're going to wrap us up first, if you would.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about it a little bit tonight, but as I said, I'm just kind of struggling and going through some tough times here. And so I just pulled up, was looking on the internet to try to find some things to kind of get me to remember why I do what I do and remember what I need to do when I go through those tough times. So I found this, and I know John Gordon has put this up also, is just 8 things to remember when you're going through tough times. And one is everything can and will change, which we all know. Number 2 is you've overcome challenges before and you can do it again. Number 3, it's a learning experience. All those tough times we go through, we definitely learn and grow from those. Not getting what you want can be a blessing, which there's a lot of times in my life that I was like, wish I got something. And then in retrospect, I was like, wow, I was probably perfect that I did not. Allow yourself to have some fun. Be kind to yourself. And sometimes maybe that's one of my biggest travesties, is I'm probably the toughest on myself of probably anybody else. And then other people's negativity isn't worth worrying about. And I know that many times as ADs, we get caught up in that. We're worrying about other people's negativity because, it gets thrown on our plate many times. And I know we probably worry about it more than we should. And then the last one is there's always, always, always something to be thankful for. And I keep telling myself that I got a great wife. I got 3 great kids. I've got, some great friends. So, just got to keep looking at those positives and all the good things that we have in our lives versus all the doom and gloom that we have. So thanks for letting me share that.
Good stuff. Take it to heart, right?
That's right. Yeah, you got to.
Number 9 was take a week off once in a while, I think.
And I did. Hey, that's the first time I did that in a long, long, long time.
Good for you.
Probably the last time I did that was I was not at school for an entire week was probably when Jane and I got married.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
It's been a couple years.
Yeah, good deal. Well, guys, good luck this week getting started and back in the groove. And Aaron, congrats on getting your school back, your gym back. That'll be great for everybody and the psyche awesome. Of everybody. So, yeah, have a great week, and we'll connect again soon here. And again, thanks to our listeners. Good luck to you all out there as well, wherever you are, working with your kids. and just giving them the experience that they have. And we look forward to connecting with you very soon as well. So have a great week, everyone, and we will see you soon, and be blessed.